Hey folks, welcome back to the Rock and See Homestead. My name is Lance. I want to welcome you to our channel. And of course, as you can see, we're not at our homestead today. We actually got out of the house and broke quarantine a little bit. We came down here to Prairie Wind Nursery in Norman, Oklahoma. And we're meeting with Bill Farris. He's the owner of it, and we're actually after hours, so we kind of minimize any social interactions, just trying to be safe. But we were actually going to speak at a little meetup, greet up kind of conference looking thing this weekend, but that got canceled. So we wanted to come down and kind of do a video of all the things he got that they have going on over here. They have tons of stuff. So if you're local, they sell to the public. They're kind of staggering people in and out. They're trying to be safe about it. So definitely, come out and check it out. But Bill, thanks for having us out here. We really appreciate it.
Glad to have you out.
And I know that we kind of talked a little bit already, but we just kind of wanted to talk about a little, first off, what's Prairie Wind and kind of what's your story?
Well, what is now known as Prairie Wind Nursery began about 30 years ago in the south of Noble at a different location. And we've kind of been in perpetual metamorphosis for all of these years, because if you're in this kind of a business, things change at a pretty high rate, and so we've kind of adapted, and so we've kind of got to a point where I think of us as a specialty nursery, which is kind of an overused term, but we truly are. We focus on our culinary herbs and the native perennials and woody shrubs, native prairie grasses, and those sorts of things that are good for your monarch butterflies or all butterflies, habitat for songbirds and pollinators and that sort of thing. And a lot of people don't realize that, like for honeybees with pollinators, they're European in origin, and so are a lot of these culinary herbs from the Mediterranean. So the honeybees love the Mediterranean herbs like rosemary, sage, lavender, basil, and those sorts of things. But that's kind of what we specialize in. Okay. That and trying to, this is a different time for a lot of us, and so we're here to help folks that are housebound. If they want to try gardening for the first time, that maybe we can help them, get started and help those beginners get over the hesitation of, can I do this or not, because it's really not that difficult. We can help you get started.
Awesome, because I know that Marcy and I have told our story about gardening, but we were afraid of it for many years. We have made many excuses why we couldn't garden, and we just flat out just didn't do it until we moved out in the country, and we said, oh, we have room now. But really, the amount of room that we're gardening in was really not even close to what we had for a backyard in the city, and we could have done a lot more there. Well, we just didn't.
Literally, even if you're in an apartment, that you can container garden, you can mix up pots with different herbs, and actually herbs are some of the easiest things for the beginners to start with.
Yep, that's what we started with, and it worked out really good. And it got us, and I tell you, that got us hooked, because we started using that in everything. Everything we cook. Marcy made some stuff for teas. And all of that just kind of got us more motivated to do more and grow more and see more.
Yeah. And even if you have to buy, some of your basics, your lettuces in bulk and at the grocery store, if you're able to throw some parsley or some chives or some oregano or some cilantro or whatever it is that you like, into these salads, it just spices things up and makes them so much better than an old iceberg salad.
Exactly. That is perfect. And speaking of your herbs, can you kind of show us what you have and kind of what you're growing right now?
You bet. We've got a little bit of everything, and we try to make sure that everything that we grow here is something that's going to do well in Oklahoma's climate. I always say that Oklahoma is a two-state. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too wet, it's too dry, it's too windy, and it's too dusty. And some of that's all in the same week. So we want to grow plants that are tough enough to make it here in Oklahoma. Yep. One of the plants that's mostly more of an indoor kitchen window type plant is the aloe vera, which we've got a lot of right now. And if you folks want to go on the internet, if you're having trouble getting hand sanitizer, there is a recipe on the internet where you use your own aloe vera and rubbing alcohol and some tea tree oil, and you make your own hand sanitizers.
It works good. We've made some.
You bet. Over here on the edible side, this is something that's called salad burnet, and it's maybe one of the more obscure herbs, but this is a little perennial. So if you plant this one time, you're going to have it forever. But it's something you can add to your salads, and it tastes like cucumber. And so if you don't have any cucumbers and you want to have a little cucumber flavor in whatever it is, you can add some salad burnet. We do a number of different culinary basils, just sweet basil, Genovese basil, Thai basil. Those are the big three. We've got cinnamon basil. There's also lime and lemon basil and a few others, but just whatever suits your taste. And of course, what herb garden would be wouldn't be complete without chives. Now we've got the flat leaf garlic chives here and your regular old onion chives, and most people don't realize that the best part of the chives are the flowers. And so this is another perennial. You can plant this one time, you can have it forever. It's good with eggs, it's good with potatoes, it's good in your salad, just very versatile. Use it any number of different ways. One of the more popular herbs is cilantro, of course. This is your regular standard issue cilantro. And do you know the difference between cilantro and coriander?
No.
Okay, cilantro is the leaf. Coriander is the seed produced by the cilantro plant.
Okay.
So it is a spice. Then let's see, over here, this is something that we grow that for most people, they struggle to grow cilantro in Oklahoma in the summertime, about the time your tomatoes and everything are ready to make salsa, because regular cilantro is a cool season plant. And when the days get so long and the temperatures get so high, it's going to bolt and go to seed, and there's nothing you can do to stop that.
Yep.
So this is a plant that's most commonly known as Vietnamese cilantro. Have a taste. Let's see what you think. Now this plant thrives in the heat, likes a little extra moisture, tastes very much like regular cilantro, and it'll go all the way to frost. Likes a little bit of extra moisture, but it's a great plant.
Now, do some people have the adverse reaction to this as they do cilantro? Because some people have a weird reaction to cilantro.
Yes, and that's a genetic
thing, so it's going to matter no matter what.
Yeah, and some people just hate it, but that's okay. That leaves more for me.
There you go.
Yeah,
more salsa for you, right?
Right, exactly. Now I want to point this one out. This is a basil. It's called African blue basil, and you can see that purple variegation in it there. Now this is not necessarily the greatest culinary basil, but it is a sterile hybrid basil. In other words, it doesn't produce seed, and what that means is that it flowers all season long. It's sort of like a petunia or an impatient or something like that. Honeybees love this. If you raise bees, plant a big row of this African blue basil, because the honeybees will stay on it all season long.
Awesome.
Then next over here we've got dill and fennel, and of course dill is good with fish, it's good with eggs, it's good in your salad, of course making pickles. The fennel, Italian sausage, put it on your pizza, all of those sorts of things. But both of these plants are in the parsley family, so swallowtail butterflies love these plants. So if you want to feed the swallowtails, plant lots of dill and lots of fennel and lots of parsley. And around here, what we do, because as you can see, our greenhouses are open-sided, so we just let nature come in here. So we'll have the swallowtails and the monarchs come in and lay eggs on our milkweed, and then on our dill and our fennel. And so we have to go through every day so they don't wipe out the whole crop. We collect up all the caterpillars and put them on one flat. We'll dedicate one flat
so
that they can consume it. A number of different mints here. This happens to be apple mint. We've got the mojito mint and the Kentucky kernel, which are both kind of slightly different spearmints. They're very vigorous, big leaves. The Kentucky kernel is the one that was traditionally used in the mint juleps at the Kentucky Derby.
I feel we have some mint coming in our direction.
And of course parsley. Who can do without parsley? Now there's the curly leaf parsley there. Is still, I guess, as popular as any. To me, it's mostly the garnish parsley, whereas the flat leaf is really the one that the chefs prefer and has the better flavor
Okay.
to it than the curly, and it doesn't tickle your palate like the flat leaf does. But you know, parsley is good with any of your Italian foods, your spaghetti sauce, and that's one of those things that you can do. You know, you can take even a store-bought spaghetti sauce and throw a handful of fresh parsley and a handful of a good fresh oregano into it and kind of make a homemade tasting spaghetti sauce. Next up, we've got sage, just this regular old garden sage. A lot of people don't realize, you know, here in Oklahoma, sage is used traditionally in your, Thanksgiving dressings, pork sausage, breakfast sausage, and things like that. But sage is really good to add to things like white beans, your navy beans, and those sorts of things. Really adds a lot of good flavor to those sorts of things as well.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah. This is this one here is the lime basil, and it's got a really good flavor to it. I haven't yet made pesto out of this, but I can't wait to try it. I think that a lime flavored pesto would
awesome.
be really good. And of course, if you're a fan of the purple basils or just like the way they look, we've got a couple of different varieties in the purple basils. Over here on the other side, we've got a number of different rosemaries. I think there's about 6 or 7 different varieties. We've got Arp, Inferno, and Hill Hardy, Tuscan Blue, Salem, Gorizia. And when we go to the farmer's market, and people always ask me, well, which one's the best? And I have to say, well, that depends on your taste, because every one has a slightly different flavor to it. The Gorizia is very spicy and floral in its flavor. The Arp is kind of the traditional, very strong rosemary. The others all have different nuances. But then from the ornamental standpoint, each one of them has different habits too. Some are a little bit lower growing and a little more prostrate, whereas some of the others are a little more upright, have different characteristics for growing. Over here, we've got one of my favorite herbs, or 2 of my favorite herbs actually. We've got thyme, which is a little bit small yet, but the thyme is really good, for fish. If you like tuna salad, throw some thyme on your tuna salad sandwich. It'll really zing up the flavor on it. The thyme's good with, soups, and it's also good with your bean dishes. French tarragon is another one that's just really neat. It pairs well with fish and chicken, different things. Behind us there is the pineapple sage, which smells really good. I don't know that it has much of a culinary use, but it does smell like pineapple. Has a scarlet sage kind of flower to it. Hummingbirds love this plant. They'll just flock to that plant. We've got lemongrass. If you're into Asian cooking, we've got a good bit of lemongrass. Lemon verbena also. That's some golden oregano, which generally speaking is more of an ornamental oregano, but you can use it as culinary, but it's usually used in a culinary sense. Now, I don't personally think that I'd ever want to eat any patchouli, but a lot of people really like patchouli, and especially a lot of old hippies. But it's been around for forever and ever and ever, and it's kind of making a comeback. People really like it. I don't know are you familiar with the patchouli?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now here's our oreganos. We grow Italian oregano, Greek oregano, and hot and spicy oregano. Now the hot and spicy is just exactly what it sounds like. It is hot and spicy oregano. Greek is your traditional chef recommended oregano, and then the Italian, which is kind of my favorite, is a cross between sweet marjoram and Greek oregano. So it's kind of in that middle ground there. It has really good mild flavor to it. It's not too sweet. The sweet marjoram for me is a little too sweet. The Greek oregano is just sometimes can be a little too strong, so it kind of hits that middle ground in there. This plant that not looking too good right now. It's a little bit early in the spring. It's not really started growing. This is what's traditionally known as Mexican oregano. It's Lipia graveolens, grows in the southwestern United States, northern New Mexico. But if you go to the grocery store and you look at the spice rack and you see your name brand little jars, a lot of times if you look on the back of them, they'll say Mexican oregano.
And that's what they're talking about.
And that's what they're talking about. And then there's sweet marjoram. And then of course now we're getting into the lavenders, which I don't think of too much as culinary, but they really smell good. They're beautiful. You get lots of cut flowers off of them. You know, lots of folks love the lavenders. And then over on the far side there, we've got bay laurel. So if you'd like to have a bay tree, you know, you can't do stew without a bay leaf, and it really adds a lot of fragrance and flavor to a stew or a soup, and beans as well.
And you just harvest the leaves.
You just harvest the leaves, and they'll get big. I mean, you know, we've got stock plants down at the other end down there that are 6 foot tall. They are a tree, but you just want to harvest the leaves. They're not winter hardy here, generally speaking. Now, in a winter like this, they might have made it, but you know, you want to put them in a big pot so that you can bring them back in for the wintertime.
So, Bill, if someone wanted to get started on growing herbs, like what are like 3 or 4 herbs that are easy to maintain, easy to start, keep alive, all those things that would be useful in their kitchen or whatever?
Well, you're in luck, because most of the herbs, with the exception of the lavenders, maybe sage and rosemary, some of the Mediterranean, you know, they're not that difficult, but they can be a challenge here in Oklahoma because of our weather extremes. You know, they don't like, it's not that they can't stand the cold or the heat, but they don't like the yo-yos between the extremes that we have here. So some of the ones that are not bothered by that, you know, an annual like basil, which would be my favorite because I just love pesto. You know, it's something that you're probably going to want a succession plant, because your plants are going to they're going to bolt at some point, but you'll be able to harvest leaves off of it, you know, through the season, and then you may want to, before that one's done, have another plant planted so that it'll extend through the season. Chives, they are as easy as they get, and they're perennial, so if you get them established one time, generally that's all you're going to have to do. You can divide the clumps up and spread them out into a row and have more and more each year. It's very versatile. You know, we talked about before with, you know, potatoes, with eggs in your salad. There's just so many different ways that you can use chives. You know, really in mint, if you like mints, and you've got a shadier area, or you have a shady area, not much of a sunny area, that's one of the places where the mints will thrive, in the shady area. Now they can be aggressive. You know, people complain, well, they've taken over this, but you know, for some folks that can be a good thing. It's like just let them go. You know, if you like teas, you can add the mints to your teas, and that sort of, you know, tabbouleh has traditionally got mints in it, things like that. Parsley is another one that's very easy. Parsley is a biennial, so if you plant it this spring, it will go all season long, go through the winter, and then next spring it will bolt, it'll flower and go to seed, and that will be it, and you'll have to plant another one then, but you can harvest off of it for that whole season. And parsley's good in you know, any kind of you know, Italian sauces, spaghetti sauces, and that sort of thing. It's very easy to grow and versatile. Let's see, what else is there? Oh, your dills and fennels. You know, if you like dill, if you like fish, you know, if you like dill on your eggs, you know, there's a lot of different ways that you can use dill. It's another easy one that you can do. But you know, by and large, when you stay away from the lavender here in Oklahoma, not that it can't be grown, it's just a little bit more of a challenge than some of these others.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So Bill, if people wanted to come out and see you guys are located off of like Lindsay and 72nd Street in Norman.
Right. We're about 5 minutes east of Norman, coming out Lindsay here. The address is 929 Goodman Lane.
So that will be down in the description.
And Goodman Lane is a private road that's off of Lindsay, just east of 72nd.
Yeah. Okay. And you guys are open from like 9 to 5?
9 to 5, Monday through Saturdays, and through April and May only, we're open on Sunday afternoons from 12 to 5.
All right, so you guys come out there
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Come on out, and we've got latex gloves, we've got hand sanitizers, we've got some disinfectant wipes, and we'll try to practice our social distancing. And I know folks are getting, you know, cooped up right now and probably need to get out and about. So come out and see us, and maybe pick up some gardening skills.
Yeah, because this is a beautiful place, and the temperature's not super hot right now. It's beautiful, and you see all this green vegetation. It's just lovely. So definitely come out and check it out if you're local. And you guys do have a website if they want to check you out on the web?
We do have a website. It's just prairiewindnursery.com. You can search on Facebook, Prairie Wind Nursery.
Okay.
And yeah, and our phone number is 405-579-8846.
Excellent. All right. So guys, again, thanks for coming back, watching the video all the way to the end. If you're local, make sure you stop by, check these guys out. I know we may pick up a few things on our way out here because they're really nice. So
whenever this virus thing is gone, we'll start having our workshops and classes and those sorts of things again.
Yeah, because I don't know if you said it through this, but I know us talking through this process, you had a saying I thought that was perfect.
Well, we grow plants, but our real purpose here is to help our customers be successful gardeners. Because if you're not successful gardeners, then you're not going to want to continue to do it. And we want you to come back and be successful with your gardening and enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. So again, that's what we're trying to provide you guys on our videos. So, you know, if you're local, come check it out. We're going to be back here later in the season and give you guys some more tours. So see you guys later. Have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye.